Competition is all over the place. Companies are eager to take over each other and it has good and bad turnouts as well. Hi everyone, I'm your host Gordon MC and today at GizChina News we will talk about the newest cases when competition made something good or not that good happen. But before that, check out our previous news recaps just in case you missed something. Apple seems to be late again from the party as they are planning to make a foldable iPhone. It seems that they just waited to have enough competition on the market of the foldable phones because we can only wonder who will need them by the time it will be released. Apple really has to roll a big one with this because times are getting fewer when they shape the trends and standing in to the end of the line isn't what Steve Jobs made the company for. Yes, they were leading in the get rid of the jack movement and the dynamic island somehow became a thing, but they need to try harder. Talking about Apple's competitors, Google just had enough of not being on the top of the smartwatch market, so they introduced Pixel Watch, which doesn't seem to endanger the throne of the Apple Watch. Google thought a bit more of its name and set the price a bit higher than what it worth. As guys at iFixit opened the device, it turned out that it's wired kind of like an Indonesian town, and the crown feels really cheap, like it would be its own counterfeit. Also, it has irreplaceable elements and lacks the durability. We know that is their first try, but they could have been more moderate with their expectations. But Pixel phones are getting better indeed. This time Pixel 7 series cameras get a major software update that will make better use of the digital sensor processor and make image creation much more neat. The update is arriving with the Pixel feature drop in December, but if we only look at the camera's performance compared to what Pixel 6 did, we can already see quite a progress without the new firmwares, thanks to Google's own made new Tensor G2 chip that we mentioned a few weeks before. I guess it's not news for you that Google Chrome is practically eating memory for breakfast. Well, Atlas VPN's survey showed that it's also the most dangerous browser to use in terms of security. 303 flaws were found in the system only in this year, and 3059 in total. But don't worry, because there are many other fishes in the sea. For example, our old, almost forgotten friend's successor, Microsoft Edge. You can forget all your bad memories with the Internet Explorer because Edge is really a good alternative. It only showed 103 vulnerabilities this year, which is 1/3 smaller than at Chrome, while it provides the same speed with less memory consumption. Of course, there's also the little red Firefox, who is best at privacy, despite the 117 flaws it had this year, but it lets you a lot to customize on your homepage, so that's also a kind of audience. And the best for the last, Opera! It doesn't have any reported vulnerability and it has a built-in VPN. With all that said, where will you migrate your browser activity? Tell us in the comments. HarmonyOS started as an emergency plan for Huawei after the USA banned them to use the Google services. But it's growing to be quite popular now. The ban hit the company hard at the beginning and they also started to feel the downslide in sales because people lost trust without any of Google's features. At least they had the Kirin chips with their top performance, but they lost the production of it as well with the second ban because they had components that they produced in the USA. Snapdragon had a few 4G chips that were made in the USA, so they could survive the transition with something, but after they made their own operating system, the HarmonyOS, of which the third edition got released this year, things were going smoothly. They just hit the 320 million installs with it. One of its reasons is that they made the OS in a way that it can be installed in other devices, not only Huawei. And now the app gallery that seemed to be empty at the beginning now counts more than 220,000 apps, and though it's still less than what you can find in the Play Store, it still makes it the third biggest app gallery that exists. It drives 580 million monthly users, so that is something if we consider how soon they achieved it after the transition. If you want to read more on the story, you can find the link for that in the description. So here's a fast one. I mean a really fast one. Okay, slow down, not that fast. Xiaomi just made a record in charging, so they are in charge of the charging. The record holder IQ00 promised a 200 watts of fast charging, while at Xiaomi they did some garage crafts and came out with a 210 watts fast charging technology. It practically takes your phone from 0 to 100% under 8 minutes. The Xiaomi 13 and 13 Ultra may include this feature already, but it's questionable available if they will bundle it with the fast charger or will they sell it separately. What was the longest time you had to charge your phone? Tell us in the comments. Were you disappointed when you expected the release of the Nintendo Switch Pro and they dropped an OLED version of the standard console? Well, don't be, because it isn't forgotten, it's just delayed, but it's on the corner, right there. So much that rumors from Shuntaro Furukawa, Nintendo's president, tell that the possible release date will be sometime at the beginning of the next summer. Though it's not clear if it will be a second generation or an upgraded third generation. Seeing the price tags of the current models, it will approximately run for between $350 and $400. We can expect a new Tegra processor, more precisely a Tegra X1 Plus in it, that lets us play in 4K, and it will have a better battery life. 4K is so sure that Bloomberg tells that there are 11 people working only on this part of the development. The display will most likely be mini LED or OLED, but there are arguments about both, so it's not quite clear. As a former employee of Nintendo leaked out on 4chan, it will have a custom-made NVIDIA Tegra Xavier with 64 gigs of SSD storage. Above all, it will be made of better quality materials on the outside, and it will include Bluetooth support. So whatever of these will become true, we will be glad to take our hands on it. Well folks, that was it for today. Don't forget to like and subscribe before you leave, and to find another browser if you still use Chrome. You can find more information of all our news in the description, so read more and tell us in the comments what did you like the most. Grab your old Switch to pass the time until next time, and I'll see you then.